This is ACC College Hoops, and ACC Basketball is presented by your local Ford dealers. We're at the Tucker Center on a big Saturday in the ACC as the number 17 team in the nation, the Florida State Seminoles, host the Wake Forest Deacons here in ACC Basketball in Tallahassee. It is so great to have you with us for our game this afternoon. Tom Wormy along with the All-American from Duke, Mike Jaminski. Mike, you could say the pandemic has affected these two teams the most in the ACC. Wake Forest went over a month without playing a game, and Florida State is coming off its second COVID pause.
And Steve Forbes for Wake Forest really thinks his team is getting some continuity finally now, and the Leonard Hamilton squad coming off their second pause of the season.
The first time they came off a COVID pause, they ripped off 5 straight wins, including this game against NC State on their home floor, and they had their best offensive production of the year.
Tom, I would think that with a noon game and coming off that pause, they're going to want to amp it up on the energy on both ends of the floor, offensively getting out and running, and defensively picking up 94 feet.
And they came up with 27 points in transition in the victory against NC State. Now we go to the hardest star to watch. He wears a Wake Forest uniform. It's the grad transfer, Ian DuBose.
And he's missed a lot of time with injury and getting back in shape, but really broke out against BC and had a terrific game off the bench. 17 points for him. He's a strong guard, likes to work in the paint. You have to honor his three-point shot. And, Tom, I look for this to be a terrific matchup today with Florida State's physical backcourt.
It's been tough for ACC visitors here in Tallahassee. How about Florida State? Second best in ACC history, 22 straight home wins against ACC opponents. Can they keep it going today and this afternoon inside the Tucker Center against visiting Wake Forest? We'll have those starting lineups. The opening tip. This is ACC basketball from Tallahassee.
Goodness, what a machine!
The start of the 54th all-time meeting between Wake Forest and Florida State. And the Seminoles have won 3 in a row in the series. That takes us right to our Ford Keys to the game with Mike Jaminski.
Hey, Tom, for Wake Forest, they want to try to find some easy offense, and Steve Forbes knows they have to play in the half court all day. It's going to be a long day. And for Florida State, Leonard Hamilton talked about their mental focus. They had it when they came out of the first pause. They needed coming out of this one.
The last game for Florida State was back on January 30th, a loss at Georgia Tech. And as we told you, Wake's coming off a win against Boston College.
I mean, you look at Wake Forest, and, you know, they had that long pause. They play one game before getting thrown into a meat grinder in the ACC to open. 4 ranked teams, 4 or 6 on the road. But they've won 3 of their last 5, and Leonard Hamilton is, you know, he's certainly concerned about this game.
Wake Forest 0-4 against ranked opponents, and that's what they have today. In Florida State, the number 17 team in the nation with a 10-3 record.
This is what you'll see from Wake Forest. Really good spacing. They'll swing the ball side to side. Not a lot of post presence, but they can knock down threes.
Shot clock is down to 5. Musius hits the front rim. And the board from Gray.
And we don't see Koprivica out there for the start, and I think maybe going smaller to try to cover those perimeter players.
Malik Osborne getting his first start of the season, number 10 in white. In place of Koprivica, now Gray finds an open space. Wake has 2 players come down with it. Ultimately, it's pulled down by Aguama. And now quickly releasing and scoring, and that's DuBose.
Yeah, he had that breakout game against BC, and that's the type of offense that Steve Forbes wants to find this afternoon, that quick-hitting 3 if they can.
So DuBose playing in just his 4th game of the season. He's now 6 of 12 from three-point distance. And that one from way downtown and on the money.
Jay Walker. That was
Walker.
Yeah, I think he was closer to the logo than he was to the three-point line.
Man, he was closer to Miami than he was to anything else. Wow. Walker extending the range, 45% from beyond the arc. He's their best three-point shooter. A little step back is all net there from Williamson.
We've seen both teams get off to a quick start, not the norm in a noon game with that compressed preparation time, but both teams getting good and warmed up.
Another three-pointer, and this time it's Wilkes.
With Evans starting, they needed another three-point shooter out there, and Wilkes is he's started the last few games and seems to get a good rhythm early.
Yeah, fifth start in a row for Wyatt Wilkes, the redshirt junior from Orlando, Florida. This is DeBose, and he got fouled on the drive. All right, here's that starting lineup for Wake Forest, presented by Toyota. We told you about DeBose, Carter Witt at the point, Musius, strong scoring performer, and the Toyota starting lineup for the Seminoles. Again, that change with Osborne in there. Provica will start the game on the bench. The word was, Mikey, little tweak in the warm-ups. That's how they characterized it. So we'll see how much run he gets today as Florida State goes to the bench.
The thing, too, Tom, is that both of these teams similar in that they will go deep into their bench. They will play 10, maybe 11 guys in the rotation. And Steve Forbes talked about wanting to do that. And, of course, Leonard Hamilton has turned this into an elite program by doing that.
Engam has come in, number 34 in white. That's out of bounds and will stay with the Seminoles.
Yeah, and I think, you could see up to 11 guys in the first half. I think rotations will get tightened up a little bit in the second half, and maybe also due to foul trouble, if any.
Fifth winningest coach of the history of the ACC, Leonard Hamilton. His team with the basketball and Walker spinning in the paint and scoring.
How do you defend him? He's established the three-point shot. He's established himself as a driver in the lane. And here you see the 94 feet of pickup on defense.
Walker is the leading scorer for Florida State this season, just under 14 points per game. And the top free throw shooter in the ACC. Choppy possession for Wake. Trying to get things organized and find that open man in Musius. It's off the weak side, and Walker gathers it. Ray bringing it up, finds the free throw line, but
offensive foul.
Yeah, it's going against the Noles.
Engam on moving screen.
Tenor Engam gets his first personal foul.
See, you have to let the guy use you, and that just he never got said. It was clearly a moving screen, and that's an easy call because it's not in traffic. That's the thing. I mean, it's an you think you're making an unselfish play by trying to get your guy open, but you've got to set a stationary screen.
Scotty Barnes has come into the game for Florida State. Will guard Witt across the giant logo here at the Tucker Center. Try a three out of the corner.
They gave Witt the whole left side to clear out, but he needed, again, we see the drive and pitch is a big part of their offense.
Williamson connecting on that last one. They try to loop it into Engam in traffic in a congested area. Contact is made, and he'll earn a trip to the free throw line.
So one thing that Wake doesn't have is a rim protector. So at Florida State, you're going to see you should see a lot of drives today, and also they're trying to get Engam involved in the offense. They're last in the conference in block shots, so it's not a part of what they do defensively.
8 of 10 from the line on the season for Engam. So the Noles come in ranked 17th in the country, 6-2 in conference play, 5-0 on their home floor. They are technically the defending champs. They were declared the champs last year when the tournament was shut down in Greensboro. That is the destination for 2021 as well. Just a few weeks away, Mike Kaminsky.
Right, and Leonard Hamilton on the ballot for the Naismith Hall of Fame, an honor I think he definitely deserves.
19 years as the head coach of Florida State, 370 wins, and 570 in his career. Most wins in school history here at Florida State for Leonard Hamilton. Williamson has to back it out. Shot clock now to 7. DeBose dropping it off. That one knocked away Engam. But he got the pass inside there to Okpomo. So we've got some free throws coming up. As a team, Wake 5th in the conference, 73%. Emmanuel Okpomo, just his 5th free throw attempt of the season. He's 3 for 4. Demon Deeks trying to establish some continuity in the first year for head coach Steve Forbes. 3-8 in conference play, just 1-6 away from Winston-Salem.
That's not even a pause. 33 days. That's just shutting it down.
That's
and
it. Yeah.
And then trying to get it revved up for league play. We talked about the schedule that he had to face early, but he has ties to this state. Getting his career jump-started at Northwest Florida State at junior college.
There were twice national runner-ups with Coach Forbes as the head coach from 2011 to 2013 at that institution. Out of the corner, and Florida State hits another one. That's Polite.
Already seen we're barely 5 minutes into the game, and already 9 Seminoles have been on the floor.
How about Polite has not played in the last 4 games, and then the answer from Wake Forest as Antonio hits it.
That three-point shooter at 37%. Well, I tell you what, both teams' three-point percentage going up in this game. Florida State perfect so far. Wake 3 of 4 now.
Malik Osborne on that last one for FSU. That's after he missed all 6 of his field goal chances in that most recent game in late January against Georgia Tech, and a loss on the road for Florida State. Witt was cut off. Williamson also denied entry by Barnes. Now he'll step behind the line. Engum, rebound and outlets, but to a player wearing a black jersey. Antonio stepping into a three-pointer for Wake Forest.
That was a gift 3. Heads up by getting the turnover and then knocking down the open 3.
Walker missed it. Long rebound. Barnes entry. Engum trying to get around his defender on the block, and there was some contact. So we'll take a timeout from Tallahassee. Wake Forest and Florida State going back and forth in a 1-point game.
Tony Balonovich.
ACC Hoops is brought to you by The Fresh Market. Discover the best today. Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealers today. And Coyote Tractor. We dig dirt.
A drizzly, overcast day in Tallahassee, but we are happy to be here for ACC basketball in a 1-point game early on with both teams making 4 3-pointers. Takes us right to the standings. Mike, Virginia at the top of those standings after their win on the road at Georgia Tech this week.
Yeah, I think you're looking at 6 teams right now in the tournament, an NCAA tournament. Clemson with that big last-second win against Georgia Tech, but I think those other 5 are pretty solidly in.
The light top of the key, nowhere to go. It's a tough angle. Gray grabs it and cleans up the mess on the offensive glass.
Right. He's, prior to the pause, was their most consistent player. Double figures in 5 straight games. Good offensive rebound that time.
And averaging 15 points and 7 boards over that 5-game stretch, Mike, and had 19 points in that loss at Georgia Tech to tie a career high. 17 points in the second half of that game. But that was a while ago, January 30th. With won 5 in a row prior to that loss against Georgia Tech. Shot clock's at 5 for Williamson. Trying to carve his way. He traveled and turned it over.
And those are the things, I mean, virtually all the defenders for Florida State have very long arms, and driving lanes and passing lanes look open, but they close very quickly, and got caught up in the air that time. You want to stay on the floor to be a passer.
First turnover of the game from Wake. Florida State 26-5 a season ago. They were set to play Clemson in the quarterfinals, and then they shut it down. They go up top, and it's Gray on the business end for the Noles.
Yeah, I mean, he's their best interior scorer, the group that's out there right now. Engum is, you know, they tried to get him going, but Gray is really a factor in the paint.
Wake Forest gets contact inside as Aguama went up strong and got fouled.
Coming off a double-double against BC. 10 points, 13 rebounds.
Osborne picked up that foul. His second for Florida State. 69% from the stripe for Oklahoma. While we have a moment, a word from Works.
Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
Odi Oguama, sophomore, Raleigh, North Carolina. Averages about 9.5 points per game and leads him in rebounding with 6 per game. And as Mike mentioned, the double-double against Boston College with 25 minutes off the bench despite the miss from the line. Second career double-double, the other one for Oguama, also against Boston College a season ago. And now a whistle going against Florida State, Mike. Was it NCAAM?
NCAAM inside, trying to carve out some space, got the elbows up a little bit. He had the guy on his back, too, and he looked to be very aggressive offensively, just a little over 2 points a game.
It's second on NCAAM. So predictably, he comes to the Florida State bench area, socially distanced. Here inside the Tucker Center. Recently refurbished. Building looks great. 2,800 fans in the stands today, too, Mike.
Yeah, and band playing as well, so a nice vibe to the game.
Polite with the steal. He'll wait for reinforcements. Barnes rattles out. Masood in there, number 25 in black and gold. Three-point specialist. Made 8 threes in the win against Pittsburgh. First ACC win of the season for Wake Forest. Got the ball right now in the corner. Trying to get by 2 defenders. They work it to Antonio. He's on target for 3.
That extra pass, he got a pretty good look from 3. Good swing of the basketball, and Wake has had really good spacing here early.
Jonah Antonio averages 6.5 points per game. He's exceeded that already in our game this afternoon. It's a 1-point Wake lead. They've still got the lead. Oguama clears and passes out. Neath. Oguama working the offensive glass after the miss there from DuBose.
Looking for the foul on the play, and surprised he came up with the ball. He was amongst 4 different Seminoles.
This is Barnes on the drive. They work the perimeter to Polite. Both sides of the rim. Possession preserved on the offensive glass by Ballard. Barnes with 10 on the shot clock. Spins at the free throw line. Antonio the rebound.
They're going to have to rebound as a group. 5 guys in there, and already Florida State's established themselves on the offensive glass, and that could be a problem.
So Antonio has 3 3-pointers on 3 tries and leads it with 9 points for Wake Forest in the first half. That's off his fingertips into the backcourt and out of bounds. So we'll step aside for just a moment. This is Wake and Florida State. ACC basketball from Tallahassee. Just under 11 minutes to go in our first half of play. Wake Forest has a 1-point lead. Time for your Honda Dealers of the Carolina startup. And this is literally the startup for Steve Forbes, the head coach for Wake Forest, and Leonard Hamilton in those playing days at Gaston College in the late 60s.
Well, Steve Forbes talked about it, and he actually developed a close relationship with Leonard Hamilton being at Northwest Florida State, and a couple of chances there, and of course the move up here. He would have had a ton of people here at this game, but with COVID not possible. And Leonard, how about that? Single season, a single game scoring record, 54 points, and my teammate and dear friend Gene Banks just hired as the athletic director there. Exciting opportunity for them as they restart their sporting program, and Leonard Hamilton going to be a part of that too as an advisor.
We had such a wonderful conversation through the miracle of video conferencing with both of the coaches. And Coach Hamilton, Mike, he was talking to you quite a bit about many different things. He mentioned his scoring record, and he also mentioned a Final Four in particular when he was an assistant coach at Kentucky.
First African-American coach there, and that's the thing with him. Not just the wins and everything, but has also been a role model and an advocate for African-American coaches.
Barnes misses. 1978 Final Four, the G-Man against Kentucky and his Duke teammates.
Whatever.
in St. Louis. I'll leave it at that, okay?
No, it was an honor just to play in that game. Still haunts me that I lost. And
I know.
Heath with the jump shot.
So closing in on the midway point of our first half, we're so glad that you're with us. There's Walker. Wow. How about the quick release and the rise, Mike?
Yeah, and talk about now he scored inside. He's made a three and then the mid-range jump shot.
Florida State had missed its last 5 shots. Wake has 5 made threes on 8 tries. That's Neath who got cut off on the drive. And now Masood misfires from 3.
And I think that game against BC really got Florida State's attention. Whoa.
Got some contact in there as
Guama getting the foul, but it hustles back to try to stop the layup.
So Pomo picks up the foul there, Mike, on Ballard. Quite a joust at the rim between those two. Ballard 0 for 4 from the line this season, but not anymore. 1 for 5. And here are the 5 pillars and principles for Coach Forbes.
Play hard, play smart, play together, share the ball, tough on D, hands, two hands catching, 2 hands passing, and execution. And and the thing, you talk to coaches around the league and the teams that have played Wake, and the first thing they say to me is, this team plays hard. And
didn't we just see it right there?
Yeah, and it brought a smile to Steve Forbes. I mean, that's, may sound like, you may think, well, that's a given. Everybody plays hard, but and especially trying to come in and set up your culture and all the adversity they've had to face this year, a tough thing to do.
True, Mike. I understand that just about every team has been affected by the pandemic, but Wake Forest in particular, as Masood gets it on the inside and scores. Witt found him.
That's the thing. There's no guy that you're going to dump the ball into on the low block, but they do a very good job of cutting and sealing inside.
Ishmael Masood, who averages over 9 points per game, was 0 for 4 from 3-point distance against BC and scored just 2 points. So he gets into the box score. FSU works it down to 10 on the shot clock. They lose control.
This is the prior possession. Then you see it, and the thing was great vision from Witt up top, and that was his 5th assist of the game so far, Tom. And we're barely halfway through the first half.
Keep in mind, he graduated high school as he hits the runner December 18th and played his first collegiate game on December 31st.
Now, they were not playing in high school because of COVID, but still such a weird thing to see a guy graduate and then step right into the ACC.
Yeah, but you did that pretty early too, Mike, right? Your Duke days.
17 when both me and Brad Doherty at North Carolina, both 17 when we had our first starts.
Coming out of the great state of Connecticut. Here's Williamson on the drive, was looking for contact. Instead, he got a great defensive play from Raekwon Evans. Walker sees a lane. DuBose challenged him and committed the foul. But again, Wake Forest getting its money's worth on those last couple of fouls. Nothing easy for Florida State this afternoon. That's what's going to take to beat number 17 in the country if you're Wake Forest, and you haven't beaten them here since 2008.
And so far for Florida State, it's been a nice mix of three-point shooting. They're 50% from behind the arc, and also they've been getting into the paint area.
See those impressive numbers from Walker. What's more impressive? Wow. You don't see that very often. 90% from the line for M.J. Walker, the senior from Riverdale, Georgia. And that 90% figure best in the ACC.
Tom, we talked to Leonard about minutes, and he thinks that M.J. Walker may be a little bit too much. 29 minutes a game. For Florida State, the way they play, 25 minutes is about perfect, and hence the rotation that they have. So I think he'd like to, cut those minutes down for M.J. Walker.
Wake able to save it. Witt with a fancy dribble. Now the dish. So Guama had it knocked away, and Wake will maintain possession. Will take a timeout as Evans made the play defensively for Florida State, trailing Wake.
ACC Hoops is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. We resolve to help North Carolina stay healthy. Your local Ford dealer. And Continental Tire, for what you do.
The Tucker Center, home of Florida State basketball since 1981. That's our backdrop inside of our game today, where Wake Forest is coming out shooting the three. Mike, they've got 5.
5 of 9, good percentage, good look ahead here. We talked to Steve Forbes, and again, I mentioned the easy offense is one of the keys, and he thought they had to knock down 10 in this game to be competitive. They're halfway there right now, and you know what, Tom, you look at them, they've had a guy step up and really knock down threes. Musius had a big game against North Carolina, and Masood had a huge game against Pitt, 31. He made threes, and could Jonah Antonio be that guy today? He's 3 of 3 from downtown so far.
Antonio also made 3 3-pointers in the win against Boston College on Wednesday and 9 points. He's a 37% three-point shooter. End of the shot clock for Witt.
And I think they won, and coming out of a timeout, you've got to be aware of what the shot clock is, and they just got caught in a bad possession.
Dicey situation for Wake Forest, but they do maintain a 3-point lead with 7:30 to go in our first half. See the struggles for Florida State from the floor most recently, although they are second in the conference as a team. 47% shooting. That's another miss. Walker misfired. Give another chance at the possession and fouled on the shot, and that was Masood who came flying in with the contact.
And that's the thing, and you know, I think you would want to have Florida State knocking or trying to at least shoot the three. So, you know, just get a hand up, try to bother the shot, and I wouldn't be surprised. I think right now that Florida State may be settling for threes a little bit too much. They get bailed out on the foul there, but they have such a size advantage. They can go to work inside.
Nathaniel Jack at the free throw line, the senior from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, will get one more. Fouled on the three-point attempt, and a transfer from Eastern Florida State as Wake Forest goes to the bench and brings in Musius. Masood, a couple of personal fouls. He'll be a spectator for the moment.
Jack is a guy they go to for that instant offense. Rarely takes a two-point shot. He lives out on the three-point line.
38% three-point shooter. 18 points, a career high for Jack. In a home game against NC State, we told you about that one. They scored 105 points, and Walker picks it off. He's on the run, decides to wait.
It's pretty good transition defense by Wake Forest. On the live ball turnover, they don't give up the layup.
Walker had it knocked away, but was also fouled. Neath was defending. I told you about Nathaniel Jack against NC State. Career high 18 points. 4 made threes for Jack. Jacking them up.
And that first one was in the logo. We talked about that earlier. And he's just a guy, you've got to pressure him outside, drive him off the line with your defense, make him at least settle for a mid-range jump shot.
All smiles for the senior, and why not? Now, you say from the logo, Mike, Florida State certainly leads the league in logo size at midcourt. There's nothing wrong with that.
North Carolina has a big logo and of the state of North Carolina in the Smith Center.
Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Very proud tradition, and Leonard Hamilton has built it here in Tallahassee. And by the way, we're in the building. Just in case you're wondering, we're thrilled to be here. All the health and safety protocols have been taken care of, and we've got 2,800 fans in the building. We've got a band. We've got everything you'd want, except maybe a few more thousand fans. But
well, you know, Syracuse got some good news. You're
they did.
That Governor Cuomo is going to allow people into the building, so that's going to help out at the Carrier Dome.
Now, I know you can socially distance in there, Mike. Witt lost the handle.
You can socially distance about 20,000 in there.
Barnes
That's a travel and easy call. You never give a big guy the ball on a break that far away from the basket. That's a turnover waiting to happen.
Ballard on the turnover.
And that's not, I'm not jumping on Ballard. That's anybody.
I got you. So the Demon Deacs have turned it over on each of their last 3 possessions. Still have the 1-point lead.
They're really locked in on DeBose. There's even double team action when he puts the ball on the floor.
There's the steal from Barnes. Gray with a nifty dribble to the wing and Polite for 3. Not enough on it. There's a wide open run out.
Wow, and that's so unusual for a Leonard Hamilton team. They got caught. It was a 3 on the break, but they had nobody back to help defensively. Nobody in rotation.
So DuBose going on a rim bender. Lead is 3. That matches the largest lead of the game for Wake, but we're going to be tied up thanks to Wilkes.
Yeah, and that's we talked about it at the beginning in the starting lineup, but that's what he brings to the team, that 3-point shot.
He's got 6 points on 2 for 2 3-point shooting. Walker leads the way with 7 points. Mucius trying to dribble around Wilkes. Got knocked away at the last second. Here's Barnes.
Good block by Gray on the help out.
And now Gray tries to run the floor, slams into a defender, and it looked like the foul's coming up on Wake Forest, as that was the defender going to the floor in Aguama.
Yeah, if he hadn't reached in on that play, it would have been a charge, but that foul was called earlier in the play.
So Gray with free throws. He's got 4 points in the game on 2 of 3 shooting and 4 rebounds in 12 minutes of action.
There's that play. Maybe got away with the extra step, but it was after the foul anyway, so he would have gotten that. But already 11 players have seen the floor for Florida State.
So Gray, 73% from the line on the season. He's a double-digit scorer, 10.2 per game.
You mentioned the rotation. During the game, you'll see a player for Florida State hold his fist up to the bench saying, I need to come out. And they all have bought into it, and they give you everything they have for their time out on the floor, and then when their shift is over, they come and get a break.
It does remind you a little bit of a hockey team coming over the boards, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is Witt long range. Wilkes had a chance at it. It goes out of bounds near the Florida State bench area, and the Noles will own it. Jalen Johnson there for Wake Forest and part of the Knicks right now.
Scotty Barnes, a quiet game so far, has not scored. Missed all 3 of his attempts. An opportunity. He's got Carter Witt on him, an opportunity to go inside. Big size advantage.
Walker with the shot clock at 10. Dangerous area. Held ball, and the arrow favors the Florida State Seminoles. You're right about Barnes, Mike. He's also a double-digit scorer, as Wake was able to tie up Walker on that previous play. Barnes averages over 10 points per game for the freshman from West Palm Beach, Florida. For the inbounds, second effort, and that's Gray.
Yeah, that was just again the lack of shot blocking inside, and Gray a strong presence in the paint.
And that foul is against Wake Forest. So the Noles will have the ball when we come back to Tallahassee and the Tucker Center. And they've also got the lead by 4. The Noles have their largest lead of the afternoon, 33-29. And while we have a sec, here's a word from Coyote.
At Coyote, we hold dirt in the highest regard. Coyote, we dig dirt.
Tom Wormy, Mike Jaminski, and our outstanding ACC College Hoops production crew with you from Tallahassee, where Leonard Hamilton and the Noles, Mike, have gone on a 7-0 run over the last minute and 39 seconds.
Yeah, and, you know, it has a couple of mini runs that Wake has hung in there, only a 4-point deficit right now. And if you're Steve Forbes, you want to close this half out strongly, try to make it a 20-point game.
Florida State has a slim lead in the overall series, 28-25, as they meet for the 54th time, and they score again.
Wow, that's great offense with Polite coming inside, but you know, you always want to look at how a team executes when they come out of a timeout, and that play was run to perfection.
So now the run is up to 9-0 for Florida State.
I wonder if another basket, if Wake doesn't answer here and Florida State scores again, if Steve Forbes might call another timeout to calm things down.
They're looking for a three. They won't get it there from Johnson. Polite, who did not play in the last 4 games prior to today. It's been a while. That's Gray crashing the glass off the miss.
6th offensive rebound, and there's the timeout from Steve Forbes. He knows that he can't let this game get out of shape here.
Double digits now for Gray, Mike, as he got on the boards, and an animated Steve Forbes talking to his team, and in particular, Ian DuBose.
Yeah, this is telling you, he needs 5 people there, and already 6 offensive rebounds for the Seminoles. Dominating inside. You know, it was a good timeout, but Tom again knows, and there's a crowd here, but in games so far this season, the runs haven't seemed to be as devastating as they might be with a full house for the home team.
10 points for Gray, Mike, on 4 of 6 shooting as he got the bucket off the offensive glass. That's now 6 straight games, double-digit scoring for Raekwon Gray, the redshirt junior. And he's made a dedication to conditioning. He's a solid 260 pounds, but
he's a man. He's a man inside.
Concentrating on the conditioning and just eating right, doing the right things, and looking light on his feet with that rebound.
Tough 3-point opportunity for Masood. Had pressure on him. Still some time on the shot clock.
Wake Forest now 5 of 12 3-pointers. Turnover from Florida State. Trying to get to the rim. That one bounces out from Masood. Witt almost had the steal. Walker tried to cross it over out of the corner. He's looking for a call. He won't get it.
Yeah, dribbled himself into a turnover that time.
Wake had started the game 4 of 5 from beyond the arc, but struggled since. Just one made 3, and that's DuBose. He'll get his own miss and put it up and in.
Yeah, he's had trouble finding his offense. They've been locked in on him, but we talked about his strength inside. He just stayed with the missed shot.
So he's now 3 of 5 from the floor at 8 points. Antonio leads him with 9, and he's got 3 made threes. For Jonah Antonio. Not in the lineup right now for Wake. Shot clock is down to 7. Game clock to 1:22. Gray with the jumper. Give him 12, Mike Jaminski.
Really nice soft touch for the big man, too. Mid-range game.
Gray shoots 49% from the floor in the season. Masood trying to slash into the paint. Lost the ball, but got fouled. It's according to Clarence Armstrong. He's joined by Jamie Luckey and Justin Porterfield, our officiating crew this afternoon. Masood comes out of the lineup for Wake Forest.
I think that Leonard Hamilton wanted a timeout.
All right, it's his building. He'll get it. 1:03 to go. in our first half. Wake had a slim lead for the better part of the first half until a 9-0 run by Florida State to take the lead. And here's the rest of the schedule, Mike, of the ACC on a Saturday.
Yeah, and North Carolina, Virginia, huge game. We talked about Duke has lost 3 in a row, and they've got to get things turned around in a hurry. But a home game for NC State. Virginia or Syracuse very much on that bubble too, if they could finish strongly. But see if Virginia can contend with North Carolina's size.
And some birthday wishes for the head man at Duke.
Yeah, Coach K, 74 years young today. Like a nice birthday present over in Raleigh.
Concerned about stopping a 3-game losing streak. Lost to North Carolina a week ago, and then Carolina had its own issues with COVID testing.
And Leonard Hamilton aging very well too. We won't say the number, but in his 70s too. But he is
incredible,
so healthy, and so vibrant.
We showed you that picture of him playing at Gaston College. The main difference, maybe a little bit more hair on top of the dome, but otherwise,
I still see the intensity in the eyes.
Definitely,
that was there right from the start.
Yeah, the eyes have it for Leonard Hamilton. Step back late in the shot clock to Bose. Volleyballed around. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Polite. It's quite an effort from Johnson trying to bounce it to a teammate, but Polite got it. Raekwon Evans on the handle. Shot clock whittling down to 10.
Nice job of Wake Forest sitting on his left hand. Polite really wants to go that way if he can off the drive.
So Florida State up by 8 with 10 seconds to go. Witt. A little too much dribbling, and Barnes looks at the defender and slams it. Barnes with the jam to end the half. 41-31. Florida State closing out the first half on a 15-2 run after the jam from Barnes.
Well, here's the look, and Witt just makes one of the few turnovers in that first half, but Florida State capitalizing.
First 2 points of the game for Barnes as he throws it down, and number 17 leads Wake at half.
If you're feeling Tampa watches the Tampa Bay Lightning on Fox Sports Sun.
This is the Toyota halftime report from Tallahassee, Florida. The Noles going on a 15-2 run to close out the first half. And they've established a 10-point lead, and that takes us to our Coyote turning point. And at this juncture in the game, Mike, it was a 3-point Wake lead.
And both teams knocking down threes early, but that was the one that really started this little surge inside, and they've been scoring inside and outside since, dominating on the offensive glass as well. And that last turnover very costly to make it a 10-point lead going into half.
And it was Barnes who scooped it up, looked off the defender, and slammed it home for his first field goal of the game. 1 of 4 shooting for Barnes in the first half. When you're dunking it, your percentages usually go up, and he slammed it home for the final 2 of the first half. And there's a look at the numbers. You mentioned the 3-point shooting, Mike. Wake had been 4 for 5 to start the game, but they cooled off considerably from beyond the arc.
Right, and with smaller players out there, again, Koperbeats has not played in this game so far, but they've had people who can switch and cover out on the 3, and they did a much better job after the first 5 minutes of this ball game.
Yeah, and Wilkes 2 of 2 on 3-point tries. Well, we talked about the beginnings of Leonard Hamilton's career earlier in the telecast. And when we come back, we'll tell you what has motivated him to continue in the sport that's provided him with so much, including an ACC title from a season ago.
I need or desire credit. When I hang up my whistle, if what I have is credit, Coach of the Year awards, NCAA trips, if that's all I got to show for it, then I've shortchanged somebody. To me, it's more important the opportunity to help young people prepare themselves for later life. I try to have faith that if I do things the right way, the outcome will be to my liking.
Inspiration, it's all around.
Tyler Hero, stream Heat Basketball Live on Fox Sports Go.
Back on the Toyota halftime report. It's a 10-point lead for the Noles, undefeated on their home floor and trying to extend that 22-game winning streak at home against ACC opponents. Well, this year, in the midst of the pandemic, the United States has experienced unprecedented levels of social unrest, oftentimes fueled by racial inequalities that still exist in our society. Florida State head coach Leonard Hamilton, though, certainly has been a leader and a respected voice on the topic of race. He inspires so many with his message.
Leading by example has always been my motto. But when you address social issues from a coaching standpoint and not address it from a society standpoint, you know, it's almost like putting your finger in the hole in a dike. We talk about social injustices all the time, the challenges that we have in our society. We have to come together and try to figure out, you know, how we gonna fix this. Even though I'm concerned about the opportunities for African Americans in the coaching profession, we have a whole lot of other professions that needs the same level of concentration and focus. And if we deal with the society's issues, then I think those other issues will take care of themselves. Coaches are evaluated publicly on how many games we win, how we go to NCAA tournament championships. That's how society really evaluates us. But the most important thing we do is we take young people as teenagers and we usher them to young adulthood. I'm proud of the fact that we've been here 18 years, going on 19 years. We've only had 2 kids not graduate in the 18 years that we've been here, which means that we have had youngsters, they've given us all they possibly give us on the court. They conduct themselves in a way that I think we all can be proud. They represent Florida State in the Seminole brand, I think, in a positive way. So when they call you on Christmas, or when they send you a Father's Day card, when they call you on your birthday, when they have important decisions to make in their life and they want to include you, they want you to be at their wedding and be the godfather of their parent and the kid. They want you to meet their fiance. To me, that's much more meaningful. And those are the type of relationships that we build on this journey. Yes, we need to win games and we need to compete because that's what society expects us to do. But those phone calls you get and those fond memories that you share when you visit with them is what this is all about. So when we hang our whistle up and we're no longer coaching, those other relationships will still be there. And to me, that's what the most meaningful thing is about what we do.
Amazing perspective, and so very well said by the 19-year head coach of the Noles. Technically, the defending champs at the ACC tournament. We had everything shut down last year. They were declared the champs, but he really has that amazing perspective, Mike, and has made such an impact on the young men that he's been able to watch over and nurture over the years.
Yeah, we've talked about it a lot, he and I, and he really is such a positive influence, and all the players have come through his program, and you see it. And when you have those guys doing all the things he talked about, making big life decisions with his input, that's the mark of a true coach.
Yeah, an amazing career as a coach and mentor in 19 years here at Florida State, and the defending champs when we get to Greensboro in a few weeks. We'll have more from Tallahassee on the Toyota halftime report in just a minute with the Noles up by 10. Back on the Toyota halftime report from Tallahassee. How about last night and the dramatic ending between Clemson and Georgia Tech, and Nick Honor
calling the glass on that last-second shot, the high screen. Nobody steps up. He gets a decent look, and he may need some of those heroics in their next game. Notre Dame playing awfully well, had a big win on the road against Duke.
Yeah, Amir Sims also had 25 points in the win on Friday night as well. And Leszewski, big-time player from Notre Dame. This has been the Toyota halftime report. Thanks for watching.
Diversity. We're proving that's
10-point halftime advantage for the Seminoles. Trying to win their 23rd straight against an ACC opponent on this floor. They would be alone Well, in the history of the conference, second longest behind Duke.
And we're looking, you combine their defense with them being the top scoring team in the conference, and they're on pace right now. They've averaged 82 points a game coming out of that first pause, and they're on pace right now to match that number today.
Yeah, they average just over 78 points per game, as Mike mentioned, best in the conference. Wake Forest in the black and gold will start with the basketball, and Witt. Florida State in the home white, garnet and gold. Wake Forest in the last 7 minutes and 45 seconds of that first half, just 3 of 9 from the floor, and they missed all 3. But their three-point tries, they turned it over 6 times. This time, though, it's a quality possession and a Guama for 2.
Yeah, they do a lot of back screening again to get guys into the paint area on the post. They come in from the top and establish. It's tough to guard a guy on the move.
Tough to guard the three-point shot as well. Nine points now for Wilkes. Hasn't missed. 3 for 3 from beyond the arc. Backdoor action of Guama. One power dribble. Can't calculate the angle on the shot. May have been bothered on the way up. Evans. Wilkes. Lost it for a moment. Pass intercepted Williamson. The anticipation. Trying to get around the defender and lay it in. Davian Williamson.
Nice job on the turnover that time, getting out in the open floor. And we talked about in the open, one of the keys for Wake Forest, trying to find that easy offense. Doesn't get easier than that.
Straight away, 3. Osborne for Florida State. Couple of threes now for Osborne in the game.
We talked about he had a rough outing against Georgia Tech. 8 for 6 from the floor, missed all 3 of his threes. So good confidence booster today so far.
DeBose was driving and got fouled. Second on MJ Walker, 32 in white. rather. MJ Walker, 2 personals.
Rose getting a little pep talk there.
One of 2 from the line of the game.
You talk about, his shutdown, Tom. 59 days without working out. I mean, that's not, just missing practice. That's not working out of any kind.
Little conversation after the whistle. Some afters between Walker and DeBose. Graduate student from Durham, North Carolina. Transfer from Houston Baptist, Mike.
And it's in a transition period with Steve Forbes trying to build that. He's got 3 grad students, and, guys who have played, D1 level basketball. They also give you some leadership. Very important in that transition time.
He was the student athlete of the year in basketball in the Southland Conference a season ago at Houston Baptist, where he averaged 19 points and 7 boards. Dribbling in a crowded house and loss of possession. Musius trying to go to the rim, and he fell awkwardly.
Yeah, landed right on the small of his back. He's popping up right now. Good to see that. But there's a couple of turnovers Wake has gotten out into the open floor.
Gray picks up the foul, and you saw him immediately signal to his responsibility for this foul. Here's the midair collision.
That's a bad feeling when you go horizontal about 4 feet above, 3 feet above the floor. There's no way to protect yourself.
Good to see Musius shaking off the after effects of that contact. A couple of deep breaths to gather himself at the free throw line. 73% of the season. Gray did pick up that foul. Trying to challenge Musius at the rim. Still looking for his first point of the game. 0 for 3 from the floor. These are his first free throws of the afternoon. So Musius, the box score for scoring his first point. He's a guy who averages almost 11 per game, so they certainly need his production if they're going to take out one of the top teams in the ACC and the nation for that matter, Mike.
And he's the only one who started every game for Wake Forest, and Play that could have gone either way, but it get a
blocking foul. So Carter Witt picked up his first personal. Gray directs a little traffic. Shot clock's at 10. Walker for three. So patient, Mike.
nice pump fake that time, and I love that little side step outside. You keep it a three-point shot, and you get a good look as the defender goes flying by you.
Season high 21 points for Walker in the January 19th win against North Carolina. Here at the Tucker Center, made 4 3-pointers in the winning effort.
You know, for Florida State, I mean, it's going to be very tough at any point in time, and a nice move inside.
Hanging and scoring to Bose.
And but you know, for Florida State, you get you got so many guys playing, and you're only playing 25 minutes. It's tough to get a guy who's going to be leading the league in scoring. It truly is a team effort.
Yeah, those Florida State players like to come in fresh right off that bench. Walker unselfishly, and the jam from Gray.
You don't have to worry about the shot blocking inside. Strong finish. That was a great play by Walker. Very unselfish.
Carter Witt. Lucius has nowhere to go as Gray was closing defensively.
Florida State guarding outside in right now. Just really locking in on those three-point shooters. They're switching on every cross.
Speaking of cross, the crossover from Williamson deep into the shot clock, and he will be going to the free throw line.
Here's the look, and he's just backing in, using his strength and size. And speaking about strength, look on Raycon Gray.
2 shots, guys, 2 shots.
So Williamson at the free throw line. First free throws of the afternoon. Let's take a moment and get a word from Works.
Works Landroid Robotic Lawnmower. Available at mylandroid.com. The future of lawn care is here.
I'll tell you what, if I had a lawn, I'd definitely have one of those.
You should have one.
I'm not the riding mower type of guy.
Let's work on that for you, G-Man. Wake Forest trying to save it to Williamson. There's a Guama going close to the front row to make the play. And it turns into a 3.
It's always risky to make that play and try to save, and could have gone the other way easily, but it turns into 3 points.
Mucius hits the 3, the 6th made of the game for Wake Forest. Told you they make about 9 per game. They're going to need all of those to stay with Florida State. Polite just lines it up confidently.
Well, that's his, I mean, he's over 50% from the three-point line, so you know it makes more sense for him to take a 3 than anything else.
That's exactly what he is today. 2 for 4, 8 points. Polite.
See, just nowhere to drive right now for Wake Forest. They're trying to find a seam.
Lucius misses out of the corner. There was a whistle on the play, and we'll sort it out for you when we come back to Tallahassee. Florida State has the lead in the second half. It's an 11-point difference, 15-10 to go. 9 different players have scored in the game for the Seminoles. They've built an 11-point lead. Their largest has been up to 12, and they do it in so many ways with so many different people.
Yeah, and 4 guys have knocked down threes this afternoon in this game, and good versatility. I mean, that's what Wilkes does, but Polite, an excellent three-point shooter as well. So good balance in this half. Florida State perfect from behind the arc. 4 of 4. Wake only 1 of 2.
In fact, 5 for 5 overall for Florida State. And they've gone 9 of 15 on three-point shots for the Noles. They are the 3rd best three-point shooting team in the league at 38%. Saw Scotty Barnes go to the bench in some discomfort. Seems to have shaken that off, and they did call a foul on Dubose on the contact with Barnes. His second, and Florida State has possession. Just over 15 minutes to go in the half. Ray. Barnes. And for some of you, you want to stay tuned for the fast break. It's presented by your local Ford dealers.
And Gray is such a tough matchup with his skill set. He can put the ball on the floor, strong, he can overpower you inside, good mid-range game.
This is Gray. Calhoun explodes out of the corner. Can't hit the short shot. Now Williamson. Defender fell down. That was Barnes. Not really affect the flow of play. We'll see if Wake can harvest some points on this possession, Mike.
Yeah, they had and it just a careless turnover. At least it's a dead ball turnover, so you can get your defense set. But that was a terrific job, Florida State. With Barnes falling down, they still had enough bodies to stop that rush up the floor.
Sometimes you think they've got maybe 6 or 7 guys out there. They just come at you so frequently with fresh players. So Raquan Gray's up to 14 points and 10 boards. He's got the double-double. They try the entry pass, deflected away. Polite got it back. Ingum was a little chin up on the rim.
And that's why he shoots 66% from the floor. Gets those chippies inside. They really tried to work him inside early in this game.
By the way, the second career double-double for Gray, who's into double-digit scoring. 11 of 14 games this season.
And the pause hasn't seemed to slow him down one bit.
How about Jonah Antonio?
4th 3 of the game.
My goodness.
First of this half, they need him to heat up.
Just a quick little flick of the wrist, Mike. Barnes forcing his way to the rim, missed the shot. Tapped it away from Antonio to stop that forward momentum for Wake Forest. So the lead at 10 for Florida State. You know how difficult it has been for ACC opponents. I'll even go a bit further, Mike, beyond the 22-game home winning streak against the ACC. How about the last 78 home games for Florida State?
74.
74 and 4? Mike.
Yep.
Last 44 ACC home games, 41 and 3. I mean...
Yeah, this definitely has become a place you don't want to play, but terrific again. Just what Leonard Hamilton has done here. You make this an impossible place to play.
Shot clock is down to 8. Witt nowhere to go. Take a peek at that shot clock if you're awake. It's Antonio. Had to get rid of it quickly. Knocked away from Witt. Foul is called. So that's the first miss by Jonah Antonio.
You know, they don't get the ball, but I'll tell you, Ballard made a nice defensive play, keeping himself in front of Carter Witt. And that almost a turnover on the shot clock.
Substitution Wake Forest, and that's Okpomo. Guama comes out. .47% from the floor in the game for Wake Forest. They'll go down a little bit. Rebound to Polite. The framework of this Florida State offense. Polite stepping back and knocking it down.
Yeah, see, he's got the size advantage again over Witt, and Witt at the very least has to get his hands up on that shot.
That is the 10th made 3 of the game for Florida State. 4th time this year they've made 10 or more, and the answer from Antonio.
That's pretty efficient. 5 of 6 from 3, 15 points in limited minutes.
Knocked out of bounds and 2 FSU.
I think the next few trips down, I'm giving number 20 the ball for Wake Forest, seeing what he can do.
Well, he just tied his career high for made 3s in a game with 5. As you mentioned, 5 of 6. Jonah Antonio, the graduate student from Perth, Australia. He's got the ball now to Witt. Witt on the drive. A little bit of touch. Spins out.
You see, I think that's the way. I mean, they give up the offensive rebound, but for Witt, you got to make him a finisher. And look at this.
Look at this. Jonah Antonio.
This is 6'3", and that's what happens on an offensive rebound. You get scattered defensively, and he gets a great look.
18 points now for Jonah Antonio, and that is a career high. It was 17, and he's got a career high in made threes with 6. That one goes over midcourt. Wilkes has to go back and just let it roll on out. It was going to be a backcourt violation. Mike, Jonah Antonio.
Tell you get that feeling, and he certainly has a great shot off of the missed 3 and off of the turnover. Seeing a big basket from downtown.
Available at mylandroid.com. CPI Security. And Honda Dealers of the Carolinas.
A 6-0 run over the last minute for the Demon Deacs to close the gap to 7. They've trailed by as many as 13 in this second half. Jonah Antonio, remember the name.
Yeah, 6 of 7 so far in the game and counting. Only that one miss. The rest of the team's 3 of 12. And he's getting some really good looks because of unselfish play, swinging the basketball. And let's see what kind of defensive moves Florida State makes to try to get him covered up from behind the arc. I mean, he's turning into one of those no-help guys on this afternoon. You got to put somebody in his shirt.
18 points, a career high. The 6 made threes, also a career high. Transfer from UNLV, Jonah Antonio. 9 made threes now, 6 of them off the right hand of Antonio. For Wake Forest in the game. A little bit of trouble there as the shot clock is now at 8. Williamson goes behind the back. The foul is going to be against Florida State. Looked like Aguama had the position, Mike.
Yeah, he worked really hard to get inside position on that drive. Tell you what, Wake has done a nice job fighting back in the first 9 minutes of this second half. You had that quick run by Florida State to end the first half, but they've battled back.
It was a 15-2 run to end the first half, punctuated by the Barnes dunk right before the end of that first half. Wake able to tiptoe the line there with Jalen Johnson.
They would have been better off just going into the backcourt and getting the pass.
Williamson with 6 on the shot clock. Don't look now, Mike. This is a 4-point game.
You've got Williamson and DeBose and Antonio in double figures right now.
There's a foul on the play. Let's take a minute. Wake Forest right back in this one in the second half, and they're down by 4 to the Noles. 60-56 with 10:50 to go in our second half.
You know, Tom, the shame of last year was, from the league standpoint and the big picture, that Florida State and Virginia were playing as well as anybody in the country. Now, that would have been a heck of a matchup in the finals if they had met in the ACC tournament. But I think you could make an argument for both of those teams going to the Final Four last year.
Florida State was 16-4 in conference play. They were the #1 seed last year. This year, the 68th ACC tournament. Williamson tried to steal. Evans got back for it, and we'll be going to Greensboro March 9th to the 13th. 28th time Tournament Town will host the ACC tournament.
That's just a complete unknown. The tournament shut down last year. It just started with a couple games.
Three-pointer for Osborne.
He's come alive after that game. Now 3 of 3 from behind the arc. We talked about the tough shooting night that he had at Georgia Tech, but that's a distant memory.
That ends a 9-0 run by Wake Forest. Just about at the midpoint of this second half. Tom Wormy, Mike Jaminski, our outstanding ACC College Hoops production crew with you. Late in the shot clock. It's now at 4 for Wake. Williamson faking the shot off balance. Aguama had it knocked away from behind by Polite. Attempted steal by DuBose. Florida State will run with Walker. Around one man, scoops it up, not enough. Antonio may shoot it from right there. Watch out.
Why not?
6 of 7, Mike, from 3.
And locked in on. They got MJ Walker, and it's a good basket.
DeBose driving and fouled. 12 points in the game for DeBose, one of 3 players in double digits for Wake Forest.
Yeah, good goaltending call that time, and he's got both capabilities. He can knock down 3, and here's things open up, but Florida State spread out, and then the late block goaltending call.
No foul on the
Nope.
12 points for DeBose. Includes a 3-pointer. 10 made threes in the game for Wake. 11 made threes for Florida State. Rapid ball movement.
And that's out of bounds. Hit the shot clock.
That was Osborne on the initial shot.
Well, Steve Forbes talked about it. He said 10 threes. That's what he thought to be in this game. And they're right there. It's a 5-point game. I think he probably amped that up to say 15 to close out the game. Might be a good number for them.
Antonio leads the way with his 18 points. Out of the game right now for Wake. DeBose, stop and start. Witt. And it back from Johnson. Lost the handle. That's Osborne on the floor trying to make the play. And the shot clock is going to run out on Wake Forest.
Yeah, since there was no change of possession right there, the clock didn't restart.
I don't know that Coach Forbes agrees, but you're right, Mike. It was a skirmish for the basketball. The shot clock ran out on Wake Forest, and Steve Forbes consenting to the call. Both teams are going to huddle up with 8:42 on the game clock. It's Jamie Lucky, Clarence Armstrong, and Justin Porterfield in conference. Jamie Lucky goes over to the scorer's table. We're taking a peek at that last sequence.
Trying to determine who had last possession on that ball out of bounds. Look, I mean, there's a slide and
Osborne, DeBose. Who else comes in there? There's Carter Witt. Now the clock runs out.
Yes, I mean, it's. Now, does he get, because of a couple of dribbles, should the shot clock have restarted at that point?
If you determine that Florida State took over possession with Osborne on the floor, Mike, would that be the key point here? Because if I hear you correctly, and I think that I do, possession may go to Wake Forest.
Yeah, Jamie Lucky's over talking to Leonard Hamilton right now, and I think that's what they're saying is that the shot clock should have been restarted on that one.
Well, the only Florida State player who could have taken possession was Osborne, right on the floor, going after the basketball. I guess that's the determination, because Wake, with Johnson, ready to inbound it. Just a 5-point lead for Florida State. It's been as many as 13 when they led 60-47 earlier in this second half. Can the Deacons hang with the Noles down the stretch? 8.5 minutes to go. Dribbling clinic from Witt, and then elevating and scoring was Johnson on the feed.
Yeah, see, and again, it's that good spacing pays off. If you're going to cover out on the 3, you're going to give up some backdoor layups, and Witt is 8th assist of the game.
Witt setting up Johnson at one end. Evans right into the teeth of the defense, and here's Williamson. Antonio in there. A conventional jumper, and he misses. Bit of a leaner. He wasn't far away enough from the basket.
Too close.
He's way too close. He's made 6 threes in the game. Couldn't hit the jumper, but it's a 3-point game. Inside of 8 minutes to go in regulation.
Tony Ball.
The Seminoles lead is just 3 with 7:56 to go in regulation as we get a word from Continental Tire.
You are made to move. Continental Tire. For what you do.
Started this second half 5 for 5 from the floor. Since then, though, Mike, just 3 of 11 for the Noles in shooting.
And I'm impressed with Wake. I mean, there were a couple of times in this game, you know, that run that Florida State made at the end of the first half that they could have gone away, but they have battled back and now turned this very much into an eight-minute game.
Double-double for Raquan Gray with 14 points and 10 boards, second of his career. Also had one against Miami earlier this season. Trying to keep the streak alive. 22 straight at home against ACC opponents. Maybe you've heard me mention that.
It's funny, Leonard Hamilton says they don't even talk about it. You know, he just wants them building it and thinking, locking in one game at a time.
We do. Walker out of the corner. 1-3 at a time for 23 in white.
Boy, doing it all in this game. He's setting players up, getting assists, and then knocks down a big basket, stretch out that lead when they need it.
12 made threes in the game for Florida State. 13 points, MJ Walker. Aguama fouled on the play. Walker was the defender.
Here's that look. And you got to think that, you know, here's the look of just the roll behind, drive and pitch, and good flaring, knowing where your shooter's going to be.
It's a third foul on Walker. Aguama to the line to potentially complete the old school three-point play.
Yeah, if you're going to foul in that situation, you're Florida State, you don't want it to be a three-point opportunity. So that's as good as a made three right there. If you're going to foul, make sure that the guy does not complete the play.
6 points for Aguama coming off of his double-double at Boston College in a win on Wednesday with 13 points and 10 boards. Barnes was fenced in. Gray. Not enough on it.
And notice whose name we haven't called in a while for Wake Forest. Mr. Antonio has not seen the ball.
He's got it now. The release. Oh. And he hits it. Antonio for 3. And we're tied at 66.
And that was under duress as well. That was a tough shot.
7 of 9 from the floor, 7 of 8 from three-point distance, at a career-high 21 points. Jonah Antonio. Barnes at the other end.
I think
he's going to get some free throws.
I think he's good from half court. I don't know about you. No, I think he's well behind the three-point line, and that's, again, in transition with him, you've just got to lock in on him running up the floor. Don't even worry about him getting to the rim.
In the zone, Mike Jaminski.
I mean, you know, you're 7 of 8 and scored 21 points. And that's, you know, that's the thing that Leonard Hamilton was talking about, that they've, you know, it could be on any game that somebody steps up and has a monster outing from behind the arc.
First free throws of the game for Barnes, the freshman out of Montverde Academy here in Florida. Season high was 17 points in the win against Florida at home in mid-December for Barnes. Couple of free throws. He's just 51% from the line on the season, so well done, Scotty Barnes. Where is 20 in black? See him on that far edge. Florida State trying to defend that three-point line. 22 feet 1 3/4 inches away to match the international distance. Williamson in a little bit of trouble. Might have been deflected by Osborne and a whistle.
And I'll tell you, you know, we talked about maybe offensive rebounding a problem for Wake. They've done a nice job on the glass as well. They've matched Florida State 8 to 8 on the offensive boards.
So Johnson is at the free throw line.
Now, Wake only 14 fouls. Florida State has put Wake Forest in the bonus situation, so that's also an advantage for them.
So Johnson has a chance to tie this game. Take a look at this one. Duke late 90s to 2000, 26 in a row. Florida State 22 in a row. Presently tied with Duke from the early 2000s. And we are tied up at 68. 5:52 to go in regulation. After Florida State led by 10 at halftime and increased that lead to 13. It is gone. Thanks in part to Jonah Antonio, just poked that one away, knocking it down from three-point range. Antonio is 7 of 8 on three-pointers. A virtuoso performance. Antonio, Mike, is a transfer from UNLV. Played a year there, played 25 games a season ago. Graduate student from Perth, Australia.
And Tommy, if you watch him, and it might be a good thing for people at home to just kind of lock in on number 20 and track him around the court. But he doesn't just linger outside. They go in, they set screens, they pop back out. So he's moving. He's constantly going in and out from the three-point line. A little bit tougher to keep track of where they are and where he is.
His career high was 17. His career high for made threes was 5. Well, those numbers, especially the three-point makes, have been decimated. I mean, he has scored in double figures 5 times this season. Had 15 points against Pitt, season high.
Another advantage. Florida State now down to their last timeout. Wake Forest still with 3, so they're in good shape.
Duly noted, Mike Jaminski. An astute observation from the G-Man. So pleased to be alongside the All-American from Duke.
We are socially distanced from each other as well as from the crowd. It's nice to see the crowd in a band here at a game.
It is about 2,800 maximum. Osborne, Aguama tie it up. Stay at this end of the floor. And the band providing the soundtrack. Just don't hear it as often anymore. But needing to take the necessary precautions, Mike, to get us to Greensboro in the ACC tournament.
Yeah, I'd just be interested to see what and how the regular season finishes out. What games are made up, the ones that have been postponed.
You're so right, Mike. Hoping to have the full complement of teams in Greensboro.
Yep. That's another big question mark.
Walker. It's a long rebound. Antonio ran into Polite.
Antonio, he's only been to the line 7 times on the year, 6 of 7.
First foul on Polite.
But it's almost like, all right, you're going to breathe a sigh of relief that he's only shooting 2 free throw or one,
As far as I know, based on the rule book that I just looked at, this is only worth 1.
Yeah.
But it could give Wake the lead. And the Demon Deacs have taken a 1-point lead. Thanks in large part to the young man standing at the free throw line. Fought back from 10 at halftime. As you mentioned, Mike, not have a lot of experience at the line this season, but 2 for Jonah Antonio.
And the thing, too, with Wake playing a lot of people, Florida State can't wear them down like they might be able to wear down a team with a shorter rotation.
Able to save it there. Osborne turns and fires. Poked around. He was able to track it down off his own miss.
Florida State looks a little stagnant right there offensively. Early foul. Instead, Wake still has some to give before they get in the bonus.
Whistle before the jam from Barnes. Third on DuBose. Forrest hadn't had the lead since about midway through the first half. That's Gray. Strong move. That's all muscle. That's muscle and determination there, Mike.
And the thing with him, and he can even up the foul situation in a hurry. He gets inside and you get those scoring opportunities. So it's a 2-shot foul right there. But his ability to put it on the floor and his strength inside, disappointed with himself that he didn't get the finish there.
Okpomo picked up the foul for Wake, so he's out. That's his 5th. 2 points for him as he goes to the bench. 1 rebound in 8 minutes of action. Gray's at the line, 2 for 2 on the day. I can understand the disappointment from Okpomo because this is an exciting game to be a part of with 4.5 minutes to go.
We gotta play, we gotta play.
15 points for Gray. He's got the double-double already. Two of them for the 73% free throw shooter, Raekwon Gray, the redshirt junior. And now we're tied at 70 again. Well, it's the first time we've gotten to 70, but here we go, tied up again.
And the crowd, too, maybe not a sellout, but certainly airing it out.
DeBose on the cut and 2.
A nice counter to come back like that, get a good back cut. That play's been there all afternoon.
Great pass from Johnson.
Push on the floor beforehand by Antonio.
So with Wake up by 2, keep in mind the largest lead for Florida State was 60-47 earlier in the half.
See, there's that spacing, and just the defense can't get over there. And Polite tried to get up for the block that time, but you know, you're gonna have to give up something. And right now they're worried about covering out on the 3, especially from Antonio.
So Osborne at the line. We'll get another. Florida State was just 14 of 23 in its loss at Georgia Tech. But as I mentioned, that was a while ago, January 30th.
Both of these teams pretty good as a unit, 73% for both of them.
Florida State got the ball back, 13 of 17 from the line in the game for the Noles. Trailing by 1 with the basketball in Gray. Shot clock's at 3 for Barnes. Raises the rim and right to Antonio.
And see, that was another indifferent. They got the reset on the offensive rebound, but weren't able to do anything with it.
And now we're down to 3.5 minutes to go in regulation. Wake Forest by 1, 72-71. Williamson launching a 3. Osborne the rebound.
I think it's turned into now it's anybody but Jonah Antonio. We'll let anybody else step up and beat us.
11 of 23 on 3s for Wake. Walker crossed it over, drew the defense to Gray. Gray got tangled up with DeBose.
A little chippy inside.
And then Johnson came in and moved Gray away from DeBose.
It started early. In the first half, we had a little chirping back and forth.
Watch out here. This is some intensity. Gray put the shoulder down and ran into DeBose, who hit the court. Don't go anywhere. 1-point game. Play, and it features Jonah Antonio.
Well, I think you could say it was a freaky fast way to get to 23 points. And 7 of 8 from behind the arc. Just an incredible afternoon of shooting for him.
Freaky fast with 23 points and 7 made 3s. Both of those career highs, Mike.
Yeah, and a lot of those, and some of them, you know, that Steve Forbes talked about easy points in transition. He's had 3s on offensive rebounds. He's had 3 in transition as well. It's tough to find a guy like that.
Just never know who steps up with the performance of a lifetime. And in all honesty, Wake needed something like that based on what they were going up against today in Florida State, one of the best teams in the country and working on a 22-game home winning streak against ACC opponents. And Gray has us tied up at 72.
Yeah, you asked Steve Forbes, all right, 3 minutes to go, we got this score. He said, let's fast forward it right to there.
Gray gives Florida State the 1-point lead. Keep in mind, last win at Florida State for Wake Forest. You go back to February of 08. They beat the Noles 78-70 here in Tallahassee. It's been since 2008. So we will have some history today Who will make it is the question. DeBose has to kick it out. Stolen. Gray past the defenders. He's in for the tomahawk jam.
Has he been their best player over this last stretch? And nobody wanted that pause to be over with more than him, and just picked up right where he left off.
20 points to lead the way for Florida State for Raekwon Gray on 7 of 10 shooting and 6 of 6 from the free throw line.
10 boards as well, doing it both ends.
Carter Witt let the defender go on by, and he knocks down a 3. We're tied at 75. Timeout, Wake Forest. Mike Jaminski.
And that was, I don't know if Florida State relaxed at all. And I mean, Carter Witt is a 38% three-point shooter, but you're locked in on Jonah Antonio. Wasn't on the floor for that possession.
Just the 7th made 3 of the season for Witt. The freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina, has tied us at 75.
Witt with 9 assists, though, in this game. Has done a marvelous job of running the offense. And, I think he's more dangerous when he's a distributor, but stepped up big time that time with the shot.
Yeah, the assists are a career high for Witt as well after that monster three-pointer. And Antonio documented his afternoon.
Talk about the toughness of Wake. I mean, they've had an answer every time that Florida State has tried to grab a hold of this second half. They've had an answer for it.
Largest lead was 13 for Florida State in this second half at 60-47. Here we are, 75 all, and 2 minutes remaining in regulation. Wake with 2 timeouts. Florida State has 1. Driving Walker. Johnson recovered and blocked it.
Said they weren't a shot-blocking team, but that was a great effort to stop the layup.
Tied at 75. DuBose with the basketball. He's one of 3 players for Wake in double digits. Antonio leads the way with his 23 and 7 made threes. Shot clock down to 8. Johnson, that's a 3. Wow. Johnson hits it for Wake Forest.
Gray did a terrific job defending that, but just what a shot to bail him out at the end of the clock.
7 points for Johnson. That's an easy 2 Barnes. So that cuts the lead to 1. 1:14 and rolling in the game.
Barnes has definitely got size against anybody Wake can throw at him defensively in the backcourt.
13 made threes in the game for Wake Forest. DuBose all the way around to Johnson again. He uncorks another one. We're inside of a minute to play. Polite came up with it. 1-point game. Polite thought about 3, then thought otherwise. Barnes. Nowhere to go.
Almost got a 3-second call that time.
Walker wants 3 straight away. Halfway down and out for Walker, and Johnson has the rebound.
He tried to buy a foul on that one, too. That was a quick shot. Still some time left on the clock.
DuBose brings it up. Polite guards him. Only about a 2 or 3 second difference. Game to shot. So Polite committed the foul. His second. So with 19.1 on the clock, Coach Hamilton's team trailing by 1, with DuBose going to the free throw line, where he is 3 for 4 in the afternoon. (16 points in the game. DuBose on 6 of 9 field goals. Clutch free throw to make it a 2-point lead for Wake. And now a timeout, Wake Forest. Time for CPI security, protecting the paint. Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, it's just talk. Wake is last in the conference in block shots, but that was a terrific individual play. And Walker was, I think he was looking for the goaltend right there. There's play. DuBose was really dead, and that good run behind. You'll see Wake do that a lot, especially if a guy picks up his dribble right there. He bailed his teammate out with a huge three.
And that is his only made three of the game on 3 tries and 7 points for Johnson. If you've been with us throughout the game, you've heard me mention on a few occasions 22 in a row against ACC opponents on this floor. Wake Forest trying to put an end to that streak. Second longest in the history of this conference. DuBose has another free throw upcoming. Either way, 1 possession game.
There's still plenty of time. I mean, Florida State does not have to go for the tie right now if he makes this shot. They can go down and get a quick hitter at 2 and extend the game.
One of 2 for DuBose. 2-point game. Walker got caught in midair. Polite grabbed it. He missed. Whistle and foul. Second on Antonio.
Well, it was really good defense on Walker. Wake Forest just couldn't come up with the loose ball, and Polite just beat everybody to it.
So Polite at the free throw line. First attempts of the afternoon for Anthony Polite. 57% on the season for Polite. 1 more to come.
Yeah, which is unusual. I mean, such a good shooter everywhere else. 50% from the floor, 53 from behind the arc, but not at the free throw line.
He's got 1 of 2. 1-point game, 9.7 seconds left.
You got to have outlets here. Make sure everybody comes to the basketball. Be a strong receiver.
DuBose inbounds. Nowhere to go. Timeout called. Last one for Wake.
Yep, last timeout. Again, I don't think that nobody was really demonstrative coming to the ball that time. So it was forced into that timeout. And that's for the guy inbounding. You got to have that 5-second clock going in your head.
Mike, keep this in mind as well as Florida State is trying to extend that 22-game ACC home winning streak. Wake Forest, in the last 11 years, 9 road ACC wins in total. So the probability of them coming in today and doing what they're doing, astronomical. And despite all those odds, they've got a 1-point lead, 9.7 to go.
And coming against a road win against BC as well. So, a good feeling about themselves. And how about Florida State in overtime? 10 straight wins for them. So, a lot of the numbers have been in the Seminoles' favor here.
And they have not won here in Tallahassee since 2008 when they won 78-70. So there was a lot of history working against Wake Forest. What they had working for them was the guy in the middle of your screen.
And the other thing, too, if you're Wake, you don't even have to get it over half court. 9.7 seconds left.
Fantastic observation by the G-man. He's absolutely right. So you're thinking that Florida State maybe tries for that quick steal, Mike, and then must foul. Almost absolutely has to foul.
Yep.
Wake Forest is 14 of 19 from the line in the game. 16 of 21 on free throws for Florida State, which had a 13-point lead in the second half and was pulling away. Coach Forbes called the timeout, and fortunes changed. There's the foul. DuBose and Barnes over the back of DuBose.
Those were a couple of risky passes right there.
So DuBose will walk to the free throw line, 4 of 6 on the afternoon and 17 points. With his team up by 1.
Steve Forbes having a little mini timeout there. We got 4 Deeks, everybody but DuBose over there, and big miss. Wow. Here's the thing: if he makes this, Tom, I've been of the philosophy that you go for the tie at home. and go for the win at the road. So I would think Florida State would get something going to the rim, maybe get Gray to go in, complete maybe an old-fashioned three-point play.
Got the second 2-point game. 5 seconds to go. Barnes driving, trying to tie it. Up and under, Scotty Barnes. 0.1 seconds left on the game clock, and we're tied at 80.
Well, they've been waiting for Barnes to use that size all afternoon, and he comes up big at the right moment. Here's the look. I mean, DuBose he's faced up on him, but there's no stopping him. He's running downhill at this point. Gets a little brush screen and a switch. And what a use of the basket. Goes up and takes away the block shot.
What a great reaction after the bucket by Barnes. 8 points on 3 of 10 field goals, and now they've just adjusted that to 2 of 9. They're working on some scoring discrepancies. 8 points, 3 of 10 officially.
Well, now they're putting 0.5 seconds up on the clock, so there's enough for a catch and shoot now where there wasn't at 0.1 second.
Absolutely, Mike. You need 0.3 for the catch and shoot opportunity. So half a second to go and tied at 80 thanks to Scotty Barnes. Potentially one last chance to win it for Wake Forest. DuBose, he'll throw it in. Johnson won't even think about a shot. Bonus basketball in Tallahassee thanks to Scotty Barnes, the freshman, on the drive and game-tying layup. 80 all at the Tucker Center. Let's play 5 more minutes. See if the streak continues for Florida State against ACC opponents at home.
Rhythm.
Problem, and he get the switch right there. He didn't want to. Guama didn't want. He went out and pick up his 5th foul in that situation, but heady play by the freshman. And you know, that's the one thing Wake is. They really have foul issues working against them. Florida State with nobody in trouble.
So first game in OT this season for Wake. Second time for Florida State. They defeated Indiana earlier this year. And as Mike mentioned, they've won 10 in a row in OT. So the extra session commences. Wake's got the basketball.
And the other big one sitting out there, DuBose has 4 personal fouls as well.
Johnson, the dribble drive.
Oh, missed the chippy.
Everything but the finish for Jalen Johnson, who made plays at both ends down the stretch, Mike, with blocking a shot and hitting a 3. Walker's got 13 points in the game. He's got 3 3-point baskets, 12 made threes. For Florida State, that was Gray on the cut and the foul.
Career high 20 for him so far, and they really, that is the tough matchup for Wake Forest.
Gray eclipsing his previous career high of 19. Which he had scored against North Carolina this season. Also in the most recent game at Georgia Tech, which, when I say most recent, Florida State hasn't played since January 30th prior to today.
That was on DuBose, and that's his 5th personal foul. And that's a big loss for Wake Forest.
So DuBose, Mike, will leave the game with 18 points on 6 of 9 shooting and 1 made 3. DuBose and Gray have been going toe-to-toe all afternoon.
Yep, been a little fiery, and that's something I'm sure that Steve Forbes doesn't mind at all.
And that's now 7 for 7 from the line for Gray, building on that career high, as you mentioned, Mike. Also 7 of 10 from the floor, Raekwon Gray. 11 rebounds, second double-double of his career. Quite an afternoon from him. You'd have to say Jonah Antonio, the star on the other side. Not to disregard the 18 points from DuBose, who just fouled out, and Gray hits the free throws.
thing about Antonio, too, we've seen him, he's gone stretches where he hasn't touched the ball, but that has not cooled him off any.
Try the other side with Johnson. Florida State by 2 in overtime. That win against Indiana was December 9th. 69-67 in OT. By the way, the NCAA record is 11 straight in OT as Osborne misses the short jumper. Louisville, UMass, and Virginia hold that record of 11 straight OT wins, and Florida State can join them. Wake has something to say about it.
How about the job of Gray locking in on Antonio and then helping, picks up the foul. He's been very active both ends of the floor.
Witt on the drive, third foul on Gray.
Good take, and that's the guy. You have to play him as a finisher, I think. He's most dangerous when he gets in there and finds people out on the perimeter. He's not been to the line a lot.
He hasn't been to the line in this game prior to that free throw. Just 6 attempts prior to today and 5 makes. And he's 1 of 2, 1-point game. Walker off balance, high degree of difficulty.
Boy, and that's a nice defensive job by Jonah Antonio. We've talked about his threes all afternoon, but he really kept Walker in front of him.
Barnes might have thought he was fouled, trying to go for the miss after the Walker shot. Witt, floater. Missed the rim and to Gray. Both teams, Mike, right now shooting 46% of this game.
Both teams shooting 50% from 3.
12 made threes for Florida State. Gray spinning on Aguama off the square and fouled.
That's on him. That's his 5th foul. Gray is fouling out half the squad.
I can confirm my 5th on Aguama. So he'll leave with 6 points.
And this is where Gray gets you in trouble. I mean, regardless, if it's a smaller cover, he can just dive right into the paint. But bigger guys, they'll face up and take you off the dribble.
So Gray has set a career high as Aguama leaves the game with 6 points. Gray, career highs for points and rebounds. He's got 12 boards as well in the double-double effort. 23 points. Raquan Gray, redshirt junior, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And he has not missed a free throw.
He said inefficient game as well, and Wake Forest will burn their last time out.
How about Gray? 24 points, leads everybody now at that figure. 7 of 10 from the floor, 10 of 10 from the free throw line, and a career high 12 rebounds. Raquan Gray has given Florida State a 3-point lead in overtime. In overtime, Florida State and Wake Forest have put on an absolute show this afternoon in Tallahassee.
Yeah, they really calmed down Antonio a little bit, but here's that last play. They see that little rub screen right there. You get the switch, and he just, instead of taking it up on the same side of the basket, takes out the block shot, uses the rim effectively, and a great finish.
That at the end of regulation to tie the game at 80 for Scotty Barnes.
That plays there for him, Tom. I mean, that, with his size, really, we talked about Gray and how tough a matchup he is. Scotty Barnes is equally as tough.
Oh, and there's also that 22-game streak against the ACC at home, Mike. 24 points for Gray, career high in rebounds, points, and free throws made. He's 10 for 10. Jonah Antonio is the leading scorer for Wake Forest, 23 points, also a career high, and 7 made threes for Antonio as he tries to set a screen for Witt. Got it back, dumped it inside Musius. His pass off of the fingertips of Williamson. It's out of bounds and Florida State ball.
See, that's a perfect result for Florida State. You make Antonio pass, and you're going to maybe give up a 2-point shot, but you get the turnover.
I haven't heard a lot from Musius as well, Mike. He's a double-digit scorer, but limited.
Only 5 field goal attempts in the game. 4 points for him.
And a 3 made for Musius. This is Barnes inching his way in. That was Osborne over the top of everybody, and a foul coming up. Wake Forest, yes. Third on Antonio.
He may have to shoot from half court. That may be the only open look he gets here in the last minute and 40.
Osborne, 1 of 2 from the line in the game. Now the lead's out to 4. Tied at 80 into overtime, so Wake just a single point so far. 22 of 27 from the free throw line, 81% for Florida State in the game. Way above their season average of 73%. Minute and a half to go. Witt diving and trying to recover. And the arrow favors Florida State on the tie-up.
And that was polite. I mean, that's terrific. 94 feet defense. He's picking Witt up man-to-man, and he causes this turnover. There's nobody else around. You see the push off and the slip right there, and that is just great man-to-man D.
86-81 in OT, 1:31 to go, and all of the points have been from the free throw line. 6 for Florida State, just 1 for Wake Forest. Now the clock, the ally of Florida State.
They're going to run it down, probably give themselves about 15, 12 seconds before they get into the play. Got to go now.
Shot clock's at 8. Polite wants it. The lefty tees it up. Over top, Osborne.
Yep, run it down again. Smart play.
How about 8 rebounds in the game for Osborne? We're less than a minute to play now. A 5-point lead for Florida State.
Quick foul that time by Wake. That was a tough, with their bigs out of the lineup. Now Florida State can really feast on the offensive glass, and initial defense was good, but they get the offensive rebound.
4th on Antonio. Barnes at the line. First miss from the free throw line in the game. Now 2 of 3 for Barnes and 8 points.
He and Polite are both shaky at the line, too. Just over 50% on the year for Barnes.
It's them both. Barnes is the reason we're here. With that drive all the way to the rim, up and under, to tie us at 80.
Florida State is just saying absolutely no threes right now. They got 5 guys out on the perimeter above the 3-point line.
Ray's your leading scorer, 24 points in the game. That leads everybody. Career high. 12 rebounds as well. Also a new career high for Raquan Gray. What an afternoon for that young man. Johnson on the inbounds. Nowhere to go. Knocked away. Florida State has it in Barnes.
See, everybody was running away from the ball that time. You have to be aggressive and come to it. Make yourself available. You throw a pass like that with too much air under it, Tom, and Florida State's going to pick it off. There's the look. I mean, it's just everybody is covered up. They switch everything right there. A long pass and a nice defensive play by Walker.
3 turnovers in the last 2.5 minutes for Wake Forest, and that's more like it for Scotty Barnes. Coach Forbes and the Deacons trying to pull a stunner. Not just in the ACC, but on the national scene as well. But Barnes, a couple of confident free throws after missing 2 the last time at the line. Double digits for Barnes now with 10 points. How about 5 Noles? Double-digit scoring. Williamson hanging and scoring for Wake.
That was the last time out for Wake Forest.
So that cuts the lead to 5. Also the first field goal for Wake Forest to the OT. Most of the damage for Florida State from the free throw line. In fact, all of the points from the free throw line for Florida State. 88-83, 27.7 to go.
Yeah, and I tell you, I think any team that takes Wake Forest lightly, it does so at their peril going out. You know, especially if they're shooting 3 like this. This game far from over.
Now Antonio 7 of 8 from three-point range, but he hasn't been able to get that shot away recently, Mike. He might need one. Going down the stretch and trailing by 5. The career day for Raekwon Gray. Add to that 10 of 10 from the free throw line. Also a career high.
They needed all of that career high as well. But you know, like you said, pretty good balanced scoring. Just the thing that really hurt in the overtime so far for Wake is DeBose fouling out. You know, they really missed another scorer out there.
Gray's in the double digits now 8 times this season. He'll trigger the inbounds. Throw the touchdown pass to Barnes ahead of everybody. Double-fisted jam, Scotty Barnes. And now the lead is 7.
There's no fouls in this situation.
Williamson driving. Tip from Johnson. Foul was called. Not over yet. G-Man.
No, and that was, talked about no fouls, and Florida State was aggressive making that drive miss, but they couldn't get the offensive rebound.
2 for 2 from the line for Johnson. Now 17 of 24 as a team. DuBose on the bench with his 18 points, as Mike mentioned, fouled out. So now a 5-point game. 18 seconds to go. Walker drew 3 defenders immediately, and they foul Walker.
That was a great job by Florida State. You know, it's tough in that situation to find a guy, but Walker's one guy you have to face guard. Try to keep him from getting the ball at all costs at that 90% free throw. He does have a miss in this game.
In fact, he's got 2, Mike. There's only 2 tries. The top free throw shooter in the ACC. Trying to cement this one for Florida State and extend that home winning streak against ACC opponents to 23 games.
I'll tell you, when you're shooting 90% too, you remember every single miss. Not just because there were so few, but he does have kind of a flat trajectory on that shot.
So now 1 of 4 from the line. The final 12 seconds. The lead is 6. Antonio driving. Was looking for a jam right at the rim. He got stopped.
Well, the clock is stopped.
They called Musius, Mike, for a foul.
Yeah, I think that
behind the play.
Florida State thought that the clock was going to run out.
I think the crowd thought the game was over too.
I think if Antonio, if he had gone for a layup here, he might have gotten the ball in. But going for the dunk, I mean, he's trying to get the foul call. But a great defensive play.
That was Gray who arrived at the same time as Antonio at the rim. It's a miss from Barnes.
You can start the press conference with Raekwon Gray's name and sing his praises. He's been a man this afternoon.
Absolute career day for Gray with the 24 points and 12 rebounds. Final seconds for Wake Forest. What a fight they put up, but it's not enough. And the streak is now 23 at home against ACC opponents. 10 of 14 from the free throw line in overtime for Florida State to win this game. Second longest streak in the history of the conference as they try to chase down Duke in its string of 26 straight. Mike, 92-85. It took an extra 5 minutes to finish this off for Coach Hamilton.
And good balance scoring behind him. He's got 4 other double-figure scores there, the 12 rebounds, and Gray perfect from the free throw line. And how about 4 assists as well? I mean, he's averaging a career-high 2.2 assists per game, but really doing everything, and had that block at the end.
What a fantastic performance by both teams. Coach Hamilton gets his 371st win as the head coach of Florida State, but what an effort by Wake Forest trying to win consecutive games on the road in the ACC after defeating BC on Wednesday, but not enough for the OT. So for Mike Cheminsky, I'm Tom Wormy saying so long from the Tucker Center. Most of you will see Clemson taking on Notre Dame here on your regional sports network. That'll be coming up on Wednesday. The G-Man and Evan Leffer will have the call for you. We thank you for watching our game from Tallahassee. Once again, that final 92-85 in OT. Florida State wins it against Wake Forest. Good afternoon from Tallahassee, Florida, and the Tucker Center. It's the Noles on top of the Deacons.